Yes, welcome everyone. My name is Gianpaolo Parigi. I'm a venture capitalist, private equity specialist, and a former investment banker and chairman of Single Family Office.
I'm Josh Stein. I'm the president and co-founder of a company called AdhereTech. AdhereTech is a digital health company that makes adherence devices to help patients take their meds. We're used by many of the largest pharma and pharmacies in the world, and we have users across every major continent. Very happy to be here today. Thank you.
Hey, I'm Yaron Zakayor, CEO and co-founder of Authy, that takes augmented reality into an affordable, easy to use, and available everywhere, disrupting a market that hasn't been growing that fast and making it available for a significantly larger use case, as you can see today.
My name is Sanjay Vatsa. I've spent over 30 years in the financial service industry at C-levels, mostly as a disruptor. Right now, focus on disruption in energy, healthcare, and in TechFin using blockchain. We've got a few of these capabilities out. Everything disruption oriented, which I think will work very well in the post-COVID scenarios. I'm also created capital markets in 3 countries, Singapore, India, and United States. So I've been pretty much known on the financial services side, but now making a mark in other disciplines. Thank you.
My name is Mike Omotosho. I am a serial entrepreneur. I trained first as a pharmacist, and I've been in public health supply chain management for over 25 years. However, today I will be speaking as the president of Hepatitis Zero Nigerian Commission. Hepatitis Zero is a project name for World Hepatitis Eradication Initiative, which is an action group of Rotary International.
What I can say is the pharma companies that we work with, and we work with most of the major pharma companies, have all been wonderful, wonderful partners, and they are extremely passionate about doing what's best for patients. We know that a lot of folks have very strong opinions about pharma one way or another. The way that I personally look at the industry is there are really 2 types of companies. There are companies that will invest heavily in creating new medicines and need to obviously recoup some value once those medicines hit the market, and then constantly reinvest and create new medicines, which ultimately is a net good. Those are the kinds of pharma companies that we work with, and those are the biggest pharma companies in the world. And then there are other pharma companies out there that will not create new medications and will just sort of boost the price up of existing meds. And those, I don't think, create a net positive. But again, we don't really work with those. The ones we do work with, I'll reinvest, and they're fantastic, wonderful customers.
So the first thing I would say, if you are to attract investors, I think if you are in the forward-looking capabilities that can add value in this new post-COVID environment, right, you can actually attract investors like anything. But I think to attract investment, first of all, you should have the right idea in the forward-looking capabilities that allows collaboration and business in a post-COVID environment, number 1. Number 2, you should be able to demonstrate a technology team or something that you can execute and bring it into place in 6 months, not more than that. So that's the second element of it. The third element is my aspect would be to focus on fintech and healthcare.
For Africa, the opportunities are limitless. Like we know, it's a virgin land. Almost everywhere, the technology itself is almost non-existent. So for me, it's virgin land. It's a whole lot of opportunities. So I see a lot of opportunities coming into Africa, and especially the fact that I'll need to say this again with the African Continental Free Trade Zone Agreement. That's a huge opportunity, because then you're not just looking at maybe a Ghanaian market of about 30 million people, or a Nigerian market of about 200 million people. You're actually looking at 1.3 billion people. So that's a market that you can actually assess all in one clean sweep.
First of all, to entrepreneurs, yes, it's very important to go after a problem that would be viable in the market. So, that's it would be a bad advice to focus on a problem that no one is looking at a solution for. On the other side, as a founder, you really need to be passionate about what you're doing. So don't just follow the trends, and if you follow the hot trends and you go after that, you are at the risk that you're at the peak of that hot trend and it's on its way down. And you've chosen something that you're not passionate about and might go down. That's not going to end up well. Solve a problem that you really are passionate about. For investors, find those entrepreneurs that will sustain and fight through the tougher times. That's the most important criteria.
Invest in people and people that have perseverance and that will see a vision to its fruition. In terms of advice to entrepreneurs themselves, I would say, don't get too concerned or overwhelmed with the macro. Focus more on the micro, meaning oneself, one's company. This is obviously an unprecedented environment that we see right now. That doesn't mean that your company can't succeed. And even if you're in an industry that isn't necessarily experiencing growth, you can still be in that industry and you still can be successful. You only need yourself to be successful. If you're trying to fundraise, you only need to close a round for your company. You don't have to worry about all companies overall. Same with landing customers, users, etc. So focus on yourself and what matters for your company. Don't let the overall environment or environmental trends push you off of a course that you truly believe is right.
I believe that the business terrain is actually full of a lot of curves. While it may be impossible to know each twist and turn that the future might hold, it is still very possible to hone the skills that one can use to maneuver. And I think part of that key among those skills would be agility. I want to remind all of us that strategy is useless without implementation.
So the investor is looking for passion, solving a pain point. Make sure you're executing and you have a roadmap to actually disrupt. That's it.